Well, good afternoon, everyone, on the Enxoo Commerce version 3 release summary webinar. Let me start with a little bit of introduction of today's session. My name is Maciej Sim. I'm an Enxoo Commerce Solution Architect, and I'm working with this product actually since the very beginning. And together with me, I invited today two of my colleagues, Michał Jurek, who is a UX designer. Hi, Michał.
Hi, hello.
And I also invited Adam Marszałek, who you already know from the previous webinar. Adam?
Hi.
Adam
I'm
is
the product owner
actually
here, so so one of the analysts working for the Enxoo for communications solution.
Thanks, guys. Michał and Adam are actually sitting in our Warsaw office. I'm today speaking from Wrocław office, where I'm located day to day. And today, actually, we will run like this, that we will start with a short introduction, I guess 15 minutes, just to recap one more time what we are doing here at Enxoo and what Enxoo Commerce is. And then we will invite you for a guided tour through the new features that we are shipping together with the version 3 release. So all the work that we were able to accomplish during last few months, we will try to show you a couple of highlights. At the very end, I will try to dedicate some time to discuss what's still on our roadmap and to share with you a little bit of our future plans. So I hope you will like it. One more time, a short reminder, on the GoToWebinar panel, you have a questions feature that you can use to ask ourselves the questions. And just before we start, before we go into the short introduction, I need to actually remark one thing. As you may notice, Enxoo has actually rebranded. So this is our new logo. And by the way, you can see that right now our pronounce is Enxoo. But I wanted to mention it not only that we've changed the logo, because this whole rebranding project that we've undergone during last year was actually quite significant for us, because we asked ourselves a very important question of what our company is all about. And once we were thinking about these things, we realized that actually at Enxoo we are not doing anything remarkable. We are not sending people over to Mars. We are not building self-driving cars. What we actually do instead, we are trying to help companies to use their own and realize their full potential in the world of digital economy. And that is something that we are trying to bring to the world, to make such change in the world, to actually teach people how to use digital tools to better manage their business, to improve their efficiency, and to improve their operations. So this is actually our vision, and we try to bring it to the world using the approach that we called some time ago Industry Cloud. Industry Cloud and our industry solutions that we built on Salesforce platform are actually our method to simplify this process of bringing the benefits of digital economy into different organizations, and to actually transform them. And these industry solutions where we excel and where we try to really focus are actually are focused in two main industries. So first of all, it's a communications industry, and looking at it in a little bit wider range, it's not only communications, but sometimes we also extend it to, generally speaking, subscription businesses. And the other industry is real estate. But obviously today's webinar will be mostly about our industry solution for communications, and more specifically about a product that is a key component of the Enxoo for communications solution, and this product is called Enxoo Commerce. This is our app exchange product, and today we will be showing the recent achievements and the recent changes within the package. So I'm going to jump right now into the system to give you a brief demo of what Enxoo for communications is, to just remind what this application is actually doing. And then we will continue with the version 3 release. So as you can see, I'm logged in here into Salesforce as a standard user, and basically the Salesforce is a CRM. So I hope I don't have to explain too much of the basics. I can see all the business records within my CRM. So I can, for example, find my customer, my account, and within that account on the opportunity list, I already created a blank opportunity to just show you. Opportunity will just represent for me a sales process within with this particular customer. And under this opportunity, I started the preparation of the quote to the customer. So I need to prepare that quote. And in order to do it, I will use an Enxoo Commerce product configurator. So I will just add one of the products. Let's say this customer is interested in buying a wavelength product from me. Wavelength is just a data connection between two places in the world. So an Enxoo Commerce as an application allows you to perform this configuration process, because in behind we have the product catalog implemented in the system. So using this kind of product catalog definition, I can choose the configuration of the product. I can choose my customer locations. So let's configure a connection between one address in Warsaw and the other address will be in Frankfurt. And a couple of other parameters like a contract type, like the contract term, I need to select. And once I calculate prices, the system actually calculates for me the pricing of this product. Now, these configurations obviously will differ depending on the business, depending on the industry. In this case, this is just a telecom product, but you can use an Enxoo Commerce to actually specify different types of products, different types of services. The solution is quite generic and it can be applied to different industries. Furthermore, using this kind of quote, once I have the quote configured, I can, for example, send it to feasibility study for a technical verification of such quote. I can also submit such quote for an approval. So the quote can be evaluated against certain business rules within the company to calculate the required level of approval. In this case, because this is fairly standard solution, the approval was automatic. I can also use one of our packages to generate different types of documents. In this case, I can generate an offer form directly from the system to basically prepare a document that could be used to send to customer for a signature. Finally, within the opportunity process, obviously there will be different stages like proposal, like negotiations. These are all the standard Salesforce features that are usually customized depending on customer requirements during the implementation projects. But out of the box in our solution, what we are doing, we are also handling the post opportunity stage. So once we close the opportunity, we are actually converting the quote into an order. Order that is submitted to delivery teams, and these delivery teams can actually use the system to track the delivery process. So right now I have changed the order status into verified, and within our solution, what we are doing, we are actually decomposing the delivery process of the wavelength service into a series of tasks that can be assigned to different people. And these are automated or manual tasks that this task can be used as an orchestration of the provisioning process. So, for example, in order to deliver wavelength service, I right now have to schedule a field service visit. Once this is scheduled, I can just mark this task as done, and you can see that the next tasks from the provisioning process kick in, and once they all execute, they were actually executed automatically because they are automated tasks. The whole delivery process is right now completed, and you can see that the result of this process is actually a service that is in the active stage. It is linked with my customer account, and it has all the configuration parameters coming from the CPQ engine. So I'm ending up with a record of the sold service to the customer. Now, all of this that I have shown you is a fairly standard configuration of our package. This is an out-of-the-box set of features that you are receiving together with the Enxoo for Communications license. Obviously, this is subject to certain customizations. The whole product catalog can be set up differently together with different business rules, price rules, etc. But just to give you an overview, and that's basically what we are trying to accomplish here as a product company. So, having said that, I think that sets a solid introduction. And we will right now jump into the core of today's meeting, which is going through the version 3 release. And first of all, I would want to share with you the release notes document. The release notes document is available on our public knowledge base. The knowledge base is actually a Confluence space. Anybody can access this document. And the release document outlines all of the changes that were done together with the version 3 release. This time, version 3 release, I think we've made a step forward because the upgrade from version 2 to version 3 should be fairly seamless. There were no breaking changes, so I enjoy all of the customers who are listening to this call to actually take a look at it, consider the upgrade, because the version 3 is actually bringing a lot of new interesting things, and we will go through them in a moment. Just to let you know, the release notes document contains a little bit more details that we will be going through today, including the a really detailed list of user stories and issues that were fixed together with the with this release. And first area is the product configurator, and right now I will hand over to Michał. Michał, the floor is yours, please.
Okay. Okay, I'll just switch to my desktop, and probably now you can see my desktop. As you had the chance to take a quick look of how quote configurator looks like while Maciek was presenting, I would like to talk a little bit more and tell you what we have changed. So one of the main goals of the version 3 of Enxoo Commerce was to reintroduce new redesigned quote configurator. As part of the redesign, we focused on the user interface improvements as well as implementing new features. So one of the first things we have done was to redesign cart. Here you can see cart after a redesign process, which is presented now in a new layout. Cart items are now located in a searchable container, which are with all necessary information about them. On the right side, we have a summary panel, which is used to display summarized prices, as well as is used to preview information about individual cart items after clicking on them. So by doing that, we can preview configuration description of the product, and also all charges which are effect of product configuration. Next important change was redesign of the product configurator page. As the end result, we managed to make our product configurator more compact. Product configurator comes in two layouts, 2-column and 3-column layout, which is manageable by the custom setting. Here you can see default 3-column layout, which consists of information panel, where you can see the image gallery and also parameters, the configuration form, which displays all attributes which are defined for the product, and last but not least, summary panel, which consists of charges panel and additional products component. The charges component is pretty much the same component we have used in cart details panel. As part of the version 3, we have added some new functionalities to our quote configurator. One of them is a discount tool. The objective of this utility is to simplify the process of applying discount to prices. Right now, we can discount on the level from individual charge to the level of the whole quote and being cascaded into all products. By using discount tool, we need to define target of discount and define one of the 3 options of discount, which is discount by percentage, by amount, or set up the target amount. So for the preview, I'll set the target amount for 800, and you can see you can preview the effect of the discount before you apply the discount, and you can see on which items the discount will be cascaded. Version 3 delivers also new functionality called favorites. It is quite common use case that salesperson uses similar set of products during the sale process. We enabled creating and adding this kind of set of products in our tool, which not only remembers which items are in the group, but also saves configuration of the products. Our functionality is built around 2 tabs, one for creating new favorites, where you can define the name of the favorite and items which will be part of the favorite, as well as add favorites to the cart. All of that you have seen is now also mobile friendly. So I'll try to show you that here. So We translated quote configurator into dedicated mobile user interfaces to make the experience better for those who would like to be more mobile and not used to take their laptops to the sales meetings. So here you can see the cart, also the catalog, product catalog, as well as the product configuration configurator in mobile version, which is as powerful as desktop version of our app that I presented in previous points. Yep. So by that, I would like to just hand over my screen to Maciek.
Thank you, Michał. Thank you for this introduction. So I think that's a great step forward with the product configurator user interface. I hope that salespeople will like it. We already have some positive feedback, especially about more compact user interface within the product configurator. So that probably will not be the last point in the product configurator UI, right, Michał? Maybe in future we'll still introduce something more.
Well, yeah, we are constantly working on new upgrades.
Yeah, so let's continue then. The next area that I would want to share with you some progress that we've made is the product designer and product catalog. So together with version 3, we're actually we have actually completed a couple of things that were started in the previous version. And we've also introduced a couple of small, I believe, features, but bringing some cool new things. So first of all is the new bundle designer. In the version 3, we have completed that migration from the old and actually not that friendly Visualforce page that is called bundle designer. So in the previous version, we were still using the bundle designer to create and design bundles. Right now, you can do it directly from the product record page. So there is a dedicated tab that is called bundle elements exposed on the product with the bundle record type. And you can create bundle elements just by dragging products into bundle elements like this. So I will just create a bundle that will be built of the internet and cable TV here. So let's add element like this. So this test bundle will be composed of internet and cable TV. And there are two options within each bundle element. And I can use a brand new options generator to actually specify what kind of combinations of these options are possible to be used within our bundles. So I can either generate options and the system will build for me all the combinations, or I can actually create an option just like this. So test bundle basic version, and I can do advanced version. So these are the two configurations of the bundle that I will have available. I have created bundle options for them, and you can see what kind of configurations actually apply to these bundle options. So this is the first thing in the product catalog area. Another new feature is a kind of handy handy thing. Previously, we were actually not able to force anyhow the sorting order of the products in the product catalog. They were just appearing alphabetically. And right now, there is a functionality that allows us to do it. And that field was added into the product2 object, and it's called sorting order. So you can specify sorting to define a custom sort of the products as they appear on the catalog screen. A little nice addition, but it does the job. Another thing is attribute default values are getting a little bit more powerful today. So what I can do right now, I can define my attribute default values to take their default value from a field that is defined on the opportunity or on the quote. So in the previous version, I was only able to create a default value, and I was able to, for example, say that actually it's a good, the best example is this expected ready for service date. So this is like a expected ready for service date attribute. And what we want to do, we want to default it to the close date of the opportunity. So once a user adds a certain product into the cart, you will be able to see that for this Ethernet product, I only have this expected RFS date, and it's defaulted to the opportunity close date. Previously, we were only able to hard code a value here, so we were able to only specify a precise date as a string in the default value. Right now, it becomes a little bit more dynamic. The next thing is the attribute rule and attribute dependencies for related products. So and the version 3 is making a few small improvements in the product relationship functionality. Just to remind you, related products are these products that are displaying here on the related list of additional products under a specific product. So I can, for example, add an Ethernet port that will be linked to an Ethernet product. And right now, what the system allows me to do, it allows me to specify a dependency between the parent product and the child product. Just an example, I would want to enforce that the contract term attribute will be the same on the parent and on the child product. So you can see that on the parent Ethernet product, I can specify contract term to 18 months. And if I will switch right now to the Ethernet port, you will see that this value is actually inherited from the parent product. And it is being specified by the product configuration where I have the attribute value dependency. I will just need to go into Ethernet port product. You will see there is an attribute value dependency where the contract term from the master attribute from the master product is one-to-one copied over into the child product. It is also possible to specify the dependencies, specify attribute rules that are using the parent-child syntax. And for that purpose, I will just refer to the attribute rules article on our knowledge base, and you can see this example here specify how to use the parent product, the value of a parent product's attribute in the attribute rule syntax. Finally, a little nice addition, which is a built-in support for other attribute values. So previously in our system, whenever there was a requirement to define an attribute value like other and have an additional input field where the user would be able to specify what he really means by this kind of other selection, we needed to define two attributes and the dependency between them. Right now, we have improved a little bit how the attribute value object looks like. So I will take a look at this bandwidth attribute, and I will find one of the values, a value that is called other. So right now, we can specify this kind of manual attribute value entry behavior on the attribute value. And I can specify this kind of type. If such selection will be appearing here, let's take a look at what happens in the product configurator. So I will just open the this Ethernet product, and you will see that in the bandwidth attribute, I will have several options. Okay, sorry, there is a dependency here. I think it will be better on the port. Yes, so there are several values of the speak list value that are available here. But if I select the other value like this, I am prompted to input the other value into the configuration without the need to define dependency without the need to define a separate attribute and dependency between them. So selection of improvements in the product catalog structure. I will be passing the voice right now over to Adam for a next bit of features.
Thank you, Maciej. So a little bit of nice features in the product configurator, a little bit of features for the administrator, the product designer, and now it's time for pricing engine. So what I will show you is the completely new interface for managing the pricing of complex products. So what we actually had in the system was the price book management tool that was global and allowed you to manage the prices of all the products in your system. But when prices become more complex and one product has multiple charges, it may be easier to define pricing policy of a product using the product-focused price book management tool. And speaking of these complex pricing models, I will try to show you what we have implemented, meaning table charges, cost plus markup pricing, related product pricing, and this can really become complex and cover the most sophisticated scenarios within the product configuration and its pricing. And what we additionally made in the pricing engine is that we allowed the administrator to reuse these complex charges across multiple products. And I will also try to show you the charges that are applicable to multiple products. So without further ado, let's jump into the system and see how it works. So I am on the well-known Ethernet product, and I want to show you the new interface for managing product prices. Let me go to charges tab in the product designer. So what we actually can see here is something that is similar to the price book management tool that was in a global context, but it is slightly different. What I have here is only one product with a selected price book with a selected currency, but I have a tree structure of every charge that appears under this product. So for now, it doesn't look that complex, but when I click into these charges, I will see a completely new table that defines the pricing policy for this single charge. And this is called table charge. The table charges work like that. We have a product and we have multiple attributes that exist for this product. And based on the values on these attributes, we can specify the list price for this particular charge. And what we can base these table charges on are not only the attribute values, but also fields on the quote line item, fields on the objects that are related to this quote line item. So for example, the location country or location city. So this is very useful for the complex pricing models that exist in, for example, telecom industry. So what I have here is the interface that is optimized for managing multiple table charges at once. So this is a tapped interface, and I can switch from one charge to another to determine the pricing. What I want to show you next is I have a related product that will use the same table charge as my main product. So have a look at the Ethernet one-time charge for a port installation fee. When I go to the related product section and I have the Ethernet port secondary product, I will try to show you the pricing policy for this product as well. So let's go to the chargers section and navigate to the Ethernet port. So what we have here is something different because the list of chargers is different. But when I navigate to one of it, and this is port installation fee, it uses the same values as the Ethernet product. So this greatly speeds up the configuration of a pricing policy and makes it easier to manage by the pricing administrator. So let me quickly show you how it works in the configurator. So what we have here is the pre-configured opportunity, so I don't have to click it all over again. Maciej already showed you how to do that, but I want to add the Ethernet product and specify some attribute to show you that the pricing will change according to what I said in the product parameters. So let's choose some attributes here and let's create an Ethernet connection between Hong Kong and Tokyo. So let's choose an interface and connector as well because the one-time chargers are dependent on it. So and Tokyo. So this is the product configuration. I just have to specify some other necessary attributes as well. And when I click calculate prices, this pricing engine works in the background and returns us the prices for particular chargers. And whether I change any of these values, recalculate the prices, I should have the updated value of the pricing policy presented here on the right hand side. And what I can do next is I can configure additional products. So this Ethernet port could have the same pricing for the one-time charge as the Ethernet product itself. But what I want to draw your attention to is the related product called Premium SLA. Let's have a look at this. So the pricing policy for Premium SLA is as follows. When I navigate to it and I go to the charger section, I can actually see no price at all here. So how does it work? Because when I calculate the prices for this product, I have the one-time monthly recurring fee. This is because we have implemented the related product pricing policy. So this means that when I have the secondary product, its price can be based on the price of the primary product. And what I specify here is just the multiplier value that takes the value of one of the fields on the main product and returns the price on the secondary product. So actually we have changed the user interface to manage charges as well, and I can show you that there is a new section in the charge layout, and this is called charge rules. And when I set the pricing method to related product percentage, I can just set that the value on the main product should be taken from the MRC list price, and I will have the price calculated based on the main product main product percentage. So a very nice couple of features, and what I still have left here is the cost plus pricing model, but I will get back to it once we configure the cost items. So I will be showing the vendor management process. I will be showing the bid management, whole quotation of the cost items, and this is where the related product pricing will kick in. But first, I want to hand over the floor to Maciej, who will show you the changes that we have made in the location section, in the location attribute, this area.
Thanks, Adam. It's a great walkthrough through the various improvements in the pricing engine. And I actually need to admit that the pricing engine with the version 3 was actually one of the biggest step aheads that we've made. I believe that with the new features, especially the table-based charges, we can right now support most of the typical wholesale telecommunications products configuration and pricing combinations, especially this kind of multi-dimensional location-based charges. And speaking about the locations, because we can right now calculate the price knowing the location, and having the charges matrix, which define a specific charge from a city to a city. We also had to make a little improvement in the locations data model. So in order to do it, we are slowly trying to build in our platform a functionality that will allow telecom companies to have a high-level overview of their network capabilities within Salesforce platform. This kind of high-level overview that will allow salespeople to configure the products and to see what are the network capabilities, what they can sell and what they cannot sell actually. And in order to do it, a first step for us is something that we call a point of presence introduction. So in the previous versions, we had this kind of location object that for us is just a representation of some place somewhere in some geographical location. For example, you can see this address here in Frankfurt Kleierstrasse. For us, it just represents a building at the Kleierstrasse 90 in Frankfurt. And together with the version 3, we are extending this kind of model. So within a specific building, within a specific address, we can right now define multiple point of presence. Point of presence are supposed to define for us network capabilities within the specific address. And under a specific address, we can define multiple of them. So in this case, you can see that I have this point of presence that is called FRA1. And I can take a look at the details. You can see that it provides to me Ethernet, wavelength, and IP connectivity within the specific location. This pop object can be used for multiple purposes. In certain cases, I can even define different types of racks or different meet-me rooms or different types of cabinets that I have in a specific building to basically show different types of connectivity options for a salesperson. So that's like a background data model. Those technical informations will be usually managed by some kind of OSS system or network inventory system that we will integrate with. So right now there is a place to keep this data also in Salesforce. And we want to keep it because we want to be able to suggest certain possibilities to the salesperson during the product configuration. And for that purpose, we've introduced an extension of the location attribute. An extension of this location attribute can right now leverage the information from this POP object to suggest the network capabilities. Let me show you how it works. So I will go into this Ethernet product, and I will right now try to configure that. So in the A location, I will basically specify that's a point-to-point and 1G 1G connectivity. Let me just delete this port. And in the A location, I will specify some kind of address in Frankfurt. So let's pick this Kleierstrasse 90 address. That's a suggestion from the system. So once I've selected this address, you can see that the system suggests to me that there are two possible demarcation types within this location. First one is called provider, which means that the service will be terminated at our premise, and I can see this kind of POP is automatically suggested here. I can also choose that the demarcation type will be customer, which will mean that the service will be terminated at customer rack, customer room, or I don't know, customer office. So I can select the customer demarcation type, and right now I am able to select the POP location, the POP of point of presence, from which I will connect the customer premise, and I am able to specify demarcation details of the customer premise. So I can say that, for example, this will be terminated at at floor 17, room number 7001, and the contact details are John Smith, and the email and the telephone number is like this. So a very specific telco requirement, but it allows me right now to specify the connectivity details. Let's see what will happen if I will select an address that is off-net right now, which means it's not my POP location. So I have, for example, such address in Warsaw. I can also type a new address. You can see that in this case, if it's an off-net address, I don't have an option to select my own demarcation type. I only have the customer demarc available, and you can see that there are, the system suggests to me the nearest POP from which I can connect the service. And it's actually a basis for me to also know that I will need to purchase a local loop that will connect the POP and the customer location. So you can see there are two POPs in Warsaw, both in the same building that is called LIM, one at level 41, one at in the basement. So I will connect this customer from the basement. I will put here some details about the demarcation. So these are the improvements within the locations management. What is happening in the backend is that actually this kind of information are written down in the brand new section that is added to all of our objects that are like code line item, opportunity line item, order item, etc. So all these fields, like the location, the lookup to the location, the lookup to the POP object, and the demarcation type, there are all fields on these objects, and this information can be used in reports and in other purposes. You can see also that the distance between A and B locations is calculated by the system right now using the straight line formula calculation. So, few improvements in the location section, and I'm handing over right now into to Adam. Adam will right now tell a little bit more about a brand new module about the vendor management and cost items management. And this module is actually our proposal to manage this case when we, for example, need to purchase a local loop from some vendor to cover the connectivity between the POP and the customer location. So, Adam, floor is yours.
Thank you. So, just as Maciej said, one of the areas that in which we have made a huge step forward is this vendor management, cost items management, and supplier orders handling area. So these parts of the system are connected to each other and allows our solution to request offers from suppliers, collect responses from them, and choose the best offers that that match the particular deal. Moreover, when closing the opportunity, these offers from suppliers are converted into the resources, and they could go through the life cycle just as order items and services do in our solution. So this is a huge improvement. And one other thing to mention, we have implemented something that is called a vendor database, and this is used in our cost items management module to send bid requests and collect bid responses from the vendors. This is what I want to show you in a second. So, jumping up into the system, I have a quote that is here pre-configured with the information about the products that I want to offer for the customer. So I have the information about some technical parameters, about the location using this extended location module. So what I want to do as a person that is responsible for the solution design is that I go back to the opportunity and navigate the completely new module that is called cost items management. And what can I see here? So here I have the list of items that are offered to the customer and the technical information about the service configuration and about the locations for which these products should be delivered to. So let's go and check what I can do with the home internet connection product. I can see that this is an off-net location and I have to provide some local data in order to make this service functioning. So what I do is that I add a new cost item. So this is some resource that I will have to buy or lease from any of the suppliers in order to make this service work. So what I do is now I can just set some basic parameters, and these are defined on the cost item level, and populate the information about the request details. So I will need a local tail with set up bandwidth for a particular contract length, and this will probably let me send the request to many vendors. In case I want to have a more detailed quotation, so more variants, I can request more quotation variants. So I can also have a note here that I want to provide the information about the prices for a longer period. So this is one of the use cases. Some of the details are automatically populated here based on the opportunity line item data. So when I save this data, I can see that I have a cost item which needs requests to be sent to suppliers. The suppliers will get the information and provide the information about the terms on which they could provide us with this particular item. So what I have here is that I have a list of all the vendors that are in the system, and these are sorted in a particular way, because when I go to one of the accounts, I can see that I have a completely new section that is called vendor information. And there are some basic information that this particular account is a vendor, that it is an active vendor, but what's more important, they have some detailed information about where they operate and which services they offer. And based on this information, system automatically suggests me who should I ask for the quotation for in the first place. So I have Telecom Malaysia, and when I just want to have a service in Singapore, this is one of the vendors that I should ask first instead of probably Deutsche Telekom. So I will just select some of the vendors here, and I will click Add Bid. So this will form the whole structure of cost items and its request. And the next step that I do is I send this costing request, which will automatically form some emails and send it out to the contact people that are listed on the accounts. So one of the contact people will be my email account. So what I have here is a new email that comes to my inbox, and this is the quotation request. And just a second, here it is. So it looks like that. The vendor gets the information that the quotation is required, and they can open a response form, which will redirect them to the vendor bid response page, where they could provide the information about the cost item. So on the left-hand side, I have the information what is requested. The vendor populates the information on the right-hand side. So this will be the local tail that could be provided in such time, and this will cost probably, this will be the right cost for it. So I can fit in some additional charges if they exist. I can provide with the quotation variant. So if some contract is 36, the one-time charge will drop to 29, for example. And if this is some complex specification, I can also attach some files here, and I just submit the information, and it goes right into Salesforce, into this record that I have created especially for that vendor. And let's just check what happens here. When I refresh the page, I just have to wait for a second for this to come here. I have the information that this account provided me with the information about this particular cost item. And me, as a solution designer or as a person from the procurement department, I can select the best deal that is available in a stage quote complete. And as I have only one choice here, I would just select the Telecom Malaysia as the supplier for this cost item. So what I have here is the processed cost item. This is already okay. This is selected automatically. The information from the bid rolled up to the cost item level. And what I can do now is I can go to the quote configuration, and as a salesperson, check how the cost plus pricing model works. So what I have here is the product with all the costs that we have to bear in order to make this service active. Let's just calculate the prices and see what happens. So what I have here is the prices from the based on the costs. So as a system administrator, I set up a bunch of rules that will just calculate the prices so that we achieve either target margin for this product, or either we can achieve a payback within a specified period of time. This calculates the final prices of the product based on all the costs item that we have under this product. So this is very tightly connected, the pricing engine and this cost items module, and this makes our solution very, very flexible and nice. So This is probably it for the cost items management and vendor management module. I will pass the voice to Maciej, who will touch on two different topics.
Thank you very much, Adam. So let's continue then. Just a second. So we had a great introduction from Adam on the very new module that was again a big topic within the version 3. So the whole new vendor management very much improved the cost items management module. And right now, this kind of cost items and feasibility study can be a very complicated process performed by different teams as part of the quote feasibility process. So we are actually finishing going through the new features. I hope you liked this guided tour. There are a little bit more, and you can see the details within our release notes document. I invite you to read it carefully one more time. And right now I will spend just a few minutes to tell you what we envision for the future. So a little bit about the roadmap, just an important disclaimer. Whatever is in the roadmap is something still uncertain. So whatever you will see or hear in the next section of the presentation is just these are just our plans, and they are subject to certain amount of our uncertainty. So the first thing when speaking about the roadmap, during the last webinar, I already mentioned that we are changing the model of the product development, and we are committing to deliver 3 releases of our apps per year. And we started this kind of cadence. The version 3 is our first version that we are publishing within this kind of 3 release per year cadence. So you could expect that and each subsequent release will be published every 4 months. And this brings a set of consequences. The releases are smaller, but are more frequent. And we are actually trying to plan them in such an approach that we commit to a specific theme within a specific release. And we are also trying to pursue certain kind of topics or in the release as proof of concept. So right now, with a quite good understanding, I can already share with you a sneak peek of what we are going to focus within the version 4. So in terms of the timeline, the version 4 is scheduled for July 2019. That's the date of the last day of our development sprint, as it's currently scheduled. And there will be 2 main themes that will be driving version 4 release. First theme is about MACD. What is this? These are all the different business flows that are driving move, add, change, dismantle scenarios of sold services. So in the subscription economy and in telco world, you are not only using the CPQ to deliver new services. Most often, even you are performing renewals, you are performing reconfigurations, you are changing, upgrading services, modifying them. So we are planning to significantly improve this process to make it more robust right now and to cover different types of scenarios in this MACD flows, which are already covered within our applications, but we know there is a room for improvement in this area. And the second theme in the version 4 is still to improve the product relationships and bundling scenarios in the product catalog. So we know that the product relationships is a very complex topic, and actually in different businesses you are structuring your products as bundles. You are also frequently introducing different types of add-ons, different types of components of the product, and we still see that our product catalog has some to-dos within this area. So we are planning to significantly improve that in the version 4 release. And there are also two proof of concepts that we would want to begin within the next release, next version. The first proof of concept is about self-service. So currently our application has capability to expose certain components in the Salesforce community, and we can see this kind of approach, this kind of strategy have several limitations. What we are attempting to rather do is to build a completely new application component outside of the Salesforce. Most likely it will be AWS or Heroku component. So we are planning to build a self-service app that will allow customers to perform certain operations from within this kind of application. This application will be integrated out of the box with our packages, so the customer will be able to use it, for example, to purchase some services or to preview the pricing of the services or to interact with their own services that they have already built. And we foresee this kind of self-service component as a foundation for different types of self-service portals which are integrated with our solutions. As I mentioned here, this is just a proof of concept. So after version 4, we are planning to have something that will be applicable for demo. Another area of the proof of concept that we would want to pursue is the improvement of mass quoting scenarios. So you already know that in telco world especially, but I believe also in different industries, certain customers ask us to prepare large volume quotes. When I say large volume, for example, they request to quote, I don't know, 200 ports in different locations. And the way typically it's done, a salesperson prepares an Excel file, and this kind of Excel file will somehow need to end up in the system, and the system should be able to process it and calculate the pricing for it. So we are planning to build in some feature that will support this kind of process. Last but not least, we are working on a separate application that is an addition to our ecosystem of packages that is called Enxoo Billing. And Enxoo Billing is an application that is extending the CPQ with the billing capabilities. So the idea is that whatever you sell through the CPQ process and deliver through the CPQ process, you should be able also to bill customers and to charge customers on the recurring basis, both for one-time recurring and usage fees. So we are actually working on the first version of this kind of application, and I hope that around July we will be able to show more. So this is version 4 that is scheduled for July 2019, and the team already started working on it. Let's take a look at what's going to happen in further down the road. So the version 5 already in our schedule at the end of October, and the main areas where we want to focus, and that's the idea at least for now, is the API enablement and the performance improvement. So we want to make further work on the performance, consider different types of options. And in terms of API enablement, we want to build in to our application standard APIs, allowing extend actually the APIs that we already exposed to the outside world. Obviously, since you are a community of different people involved and subscribed, please share your comments directly to me, Adam, or whoever you are in contact frequently. If you see something that should be prioritized, let us know, and we will also consider it for the roadmap. In terms of version 6, it's just to let you know that it's scheduled for the 21st February 2020, and the scope is yet unknown. This is just a high-level view of the upcoming release, and I hope it will be exciting in future, and that I will have an opportunity to meet with all of you within few months to share with you the progress that we are making. And we are actually coming back to the end of this webinar. Using this opportunity, I would also want to pass and say a big thank you to the whole team who has contributed to version 3. I think it's a tremendous work. So thank you, Enxoo team, thank you, CPQ team, and all of the people who are supporting us and who are sponsoring this product development activities, and especially thank you our customers who are using this kind of features every day, and for whom we are actually trying to do our best effort. Michał, Adam, will we be wrapping up? Anything else from you for today?
I would like to also admit that I am very happy with the progress that our product has made. This webinar just summarizes the effects of the few months, and this is really exciting, and I'm looking forward to see what we will come up with in July.
Yeah, let's hope that in July there will be a nice summer, and we will just connect from some kind of sunny place, maybe drinking some drinks on some beach, and share with you what is possible, what was done in version 4. Having said that, I would want to thank everybody who participated. I hope that was interesting. Let me still share for a couple of minutes the link to the release note document, so you can capture it from here. or I think it will be sent afterwards together with the recording link. And we will be disconnecting shortly. Bye bye. Have a good afternoon.